Good morning. It's a gorgeous morning out here this morning again. We're gonna get the pigs fed, the chickens fed, the sheep's fed, and then I think I got to work on a little project with the garden. I'm not sure if we're gonna dig up potatoes first thing or we're gonna work on some more beautification stuff. We'll see. Carmen right now, she's in the house. She's canning up some pears. So I think we got about a case and a half of pears canned up right now. So it's looking pretty good. So of the, what is it, like 200 videos we've put out, I think 175 of them you've seen me feed the chickens. So today there's gonna be no chickens. We're gonna feed the pigs. These lovely critters. Quite a bit of size difference in these pigs. We had one had diarrhea there for a while and it lost quite a bit of weight. We got it back on track, but it's still way behind. And then we got old Boris up front there who just got his nose nipped by the electric fence. He should know better. So we got all our kitchen food scraps here, and then I got another big bucket of peas, oats, and barley that we get from Bloom Enterprises. Buy that in bulk, so I mix up 2 5-gallon buckets of that every day and give it to them, one in the morning, one at night. So we'll go ahead and get these critters fed. There you go. Must be delicious. Most of what that was actually was cut off pieces of pear from Carmen canning, and then there was a little bit of leftover spaghetti and I think some Charlotte's pancake from breakfast. And then we got this big bucket of grain I got to dump in there for them as well. Just in the kitchen right now and cleaning carrots. Carmen did like 10 times that many so far, and we don't have a wash station outside, so we're digging these carrots out of the hard packed clay in the garden, and we wash most of them outside. Some of them have still quite a bit of dirt on it, so what I did is we just threw it in a flower pot in the sink and we're just rinsing it off into the sink. And I would really like to see what your guys' setup is. How are you managing this? Because right now this sucks. Like, there's got to be a better way. Like I'm picturing like dumping all of our carrots in the washing machine and then just throwing it on like a HD cycle, and they should come out like sparkly clean. But that's probably not too good for the washing machine and probably not too good for the carrots anyways. But yeah, there's got to be a better way. Well, I just came back from town. I've been feeling under the weather for a few days now, so I had to go in and get swabbed for the old coronavirus. And the lady comes out and she's got this Q-tip, right? It's yay long. And she sticks it so far down my throat, I'm pretty sure she touched the inside of my butthole. But the good news is I still have a high functioning gag reflex. So it's just starting to rain now and I'm about to go dig some potatoes. Yeah, I got a cold. I'm gonna go dig potatoes in the rain. That sounds smart, right? But I just wanted to show you, this is where the old McCormick mower was. Looks super awesome with the old purple watering can. But so we laid some railroad ties down here. Carmen's got 2 maple trees in here, and then we're gonna lay some plastic, actually just old like silage tarp, and then I'm not sure if we're gonna do rocks in here or if we're gonna do a flower bed with some wood chips. That part's not finalized, but yeah, if before the frost and snow and everything comes, I'd like to get this all positioned and up on blocks, get this little project done. This one's an easy one. This we could, if we had all the right resources, we could probably get this done in an afternoon, to be honest. So I've got about probably the first 15 to 20 feet of rows, first row of potatoes dug up here. And I've got, what have I got? 2/3 of a 5-gallon pail potatoes. So most of them are pretty small. There are a few big ones. So if you're doing this in your garden this year and you're concerned, because I'm just using a manure fork, right? If you're concerned that maybe you're missing a few, or a couple slip by the tines and you don't catch them all, don't worry about it. Potatoes are like, as a tuber, they're a heavy feeder, right? They suck up a lot of nutrients. And so by leaving them in the soil, if you miss a couple, it's not a big deal. They'll rot down over the winter and they'll release those nutrients back in the soil. And then when you plant potatoes the following year, you'll have good nutrients in the soil. Now, some folks have asked, if I leave them in the soil, will they grow next year? In warmer climates, yes, it will. Where you run into issues is if you leave a whole plant and you've got like 10 potatoes there, you're obviously going to get a lot of crowding, so you might want to dig them and just space them out again. But colder climates like here in northern Alberta, they're not going to survive. They're just going to rot down and that's fine. That also is a good benefit too when you're working with heavy clay soil, to have carrots and potatoes and any root vegetables rot down in the soil, because they do help release that humic acid, which breaks down the clay and makes it more workable. So I'm here in the garden, and I'm about the three-quarters of the way through the third row of potatoes. I've got 2 big buckets and maybe a quarter of a bucket left in the garden here. And then I got like 5 or 6 more rows to go. And as you can see, there's an abundance of growth in here, but not edible stuff. This is a combination of clover and scentless chamomile that's really taken over the garden here. And while this might be a bit discouraging, the good news is that I know with certainty that I can convert all this carbon-based, vegetation into nitrogen with my little friends over here. So as soon as I harvest this very meager crop of potatoes, we're gonna move the electric fence over here and have the pigs come in and strip this area bare of all vegetation. And then we're gonna add in compost and sheep manure and stuff from last year's lambing pen, and have the pigs work all that in. And they're gonna convert all this carbon into nitrogen and break down some more of this clay. Because some of the clay actually is really, really hard. Potatoes, believe it or not, are just like goldfish, right? They're only able to survive, or only able to grow, I guess, in accordance to the size of their bowl. And so when the clay is packed really, really tight around that potato, it's a lot of work for the potato to have to try and grow and expand. And we're seeing that with lots of these. Like we're getting, tons of these little ones that come out, good new potato size, right? You would expect to see in July or maybe even early August. Not what you would expect to see at the end of September. Don't get me wrong, we've seen a few, good fist-sized ones too. We've had a few of those, but that's not what's common here. So it is now bucketing it down with rain, bucketing down, and I am soaked well beyond the teats. So I'm bringing our potatoes in, and then I'm gonna park that side by side and go inside and have a cup of tea, I think. Well, I got a big old bucket of carrot trimmings and pear trimmings from canning earlier today. Carmen's been canning all day. Well, between that and baking bread. Now she's in there right now actually baking pepperoni and cheese sticks for tomorrow. So I tell you, I lucked out when I got her. I think I might toss a few carrots to the sheep here just for a nice little treat for them as well. So as it turns out, sheep don't like carrots. They're all just gonna sit there on the ground, but that's okay, because the chickens are right there. I'm sure they're gonna fly up and eat all those carrots up. Chickens love carrots. They're eating the rest of them back there. So it'll work good, whatever the sheep don't clean up. Maybe they'll develop a taste for them. I'm guessing not though, so that's okay. So it's been a really cold, wet, miserable kind of day, and it's surprising, like all those pumpkin spice drinking freaks, how they look forward to this time of year. But one small consolation, I'm just over here at the sunflowers. Look at that. We're actually getting a flower, and there's a few of them actually that have headed out, and they're gonna flower here if the weather stays, if it doesn't get too frosty. So that's nice. The chickens will love those sunflower seeds. So it's the last feeding of the day for the piggies here, and yeah, turns out they don't like onions. There's a few onions we've tossed over there. They don't like it. Anyway, today is the last day they're gonna get in this section. Today we also harvested all the potatoes, so they're gonna head over there tomorrow morning sometime. As you can hear, they're definitely ready for supper, so I'm gonna go ahead and get them fed. It is now 8 o'clock at night. Everybody's fed, watered, and tucked in for the evening. So I think I'm gonna head inside here myself, get a cup of tea, maybe see if I can sneak some of that homemade bread. So I hope you have a fantastic evening. We'll see you tomorrow.